Hi,
Hi,
everyone.
everyone. I think
Good
we're
to see
live.
you guys again. Yes, we are. We are live. Today is Wednesday, the 23rd of October, 3 o'clock UK time, 9 a.m. CST. Is that it?
I applaud all of those of you tuning in at 9 a.m. CST. It's
Well
so,
done. Well done.
yeah, that's very impressive. So great to see you all again.
Yes,
So
definitely. Well, this is our second live stream, isn't it?
it is.
Yes, yes.
And are we going to shall I do a little recap on what we talked about a
Yes,
couple of
shall
weeks
we?
ago?
Yeah, I think it
So
would be nice.
So we're going to be doing these every couple of weeks. So we had our first one a couple of weeks ago, and we spoke about all things positive discipline. So we looked at the difference between punishment and discipline. And once you kind of understand the difference, it's so much easier to see your children's and your own challenges as opportunities for learning and growth. So that's a really, really great one. If you haven't watched it, to go back and you can find it on YouTube. I think the link, Carolyn was going to put it into the chat for our YouTube channel.
You can always go straight to AIM website as well. So aimmontessori.org. And then you just go like on the little tab for parenting, and you should be able to see us there as well. So it's easy for you to catch up.
Exactly. So we also looked at the 5 pillars for positive discipline. And these are just really great questions to ask yourself. If you're kind of thinking, am I doing positive discipline? Am I not doing positive discipline? They are kind of like the fundamentals. So we gave obviously some context around each of the pillars, and so that's it's the sort of foundation of what positive discipline is all about. And we had a really great listener question about, and I'm sure a load of you could resonate with this, about bedtime stalling and healthy bedtime routines. So that was at the end of the live. I think last time we did 37 minutes, didn't we, Lucy? And
we stretch it a bit. Yeah.
We stretched it just a little bit. But today we're going to try and keep it under 30 minutes. And Lucy, you did mention there was a clock somewhere.
Yes, Amanda, can you see the clock?
I can see the clock. Okay. I mean, I know I've got one here, but this is much better. So
I am the clock.
I am the clock, exactly. So and actually today we have got a listener question that we're going to answer at the end, all about she was an exhausted mum who's got a 3-year-old, and she was saying that she feels she needs to entertain her child the whole time, and she's exhausted. And any kind of tips for independent play. So we're going to tackle that one at the end of this live.
Cool.
So Lucy, what's it all about today?
So today is going to be all about Montessori at home. So excited. Because there is just so much to talk about Montessori at home. There's so much that people have no idea that Montessori at home is about, and so many misconceptions. So we are going to start some myth busting today.
Love a bit of myth busting.
It's important for us to be well informed, isn't it? Information is power, people.
Absolutely. And I also think that a lot of people don't even realize that Montessori is something that you can do outside of the classroom.
Yeah, definitely.
And how it can
so much. Yeah.
That's what I love. Montessori is the principles are universal, and they can be used in the workplace, they can be used in the home environment. And today we're going to be talking about the home. So
and
Lucy,
I'll tell you what, Amanda, can I just add a small thing to it? I bet that there are so many parents out there who are already doing Montessori at home who don't even realize that they're doing Montessori at home.
Totally.
That is just beautiful. So now these parents are going to be able to name it.
Absolutely. And, I sometimes think the name Montessori kind of gets people a little bit kind of overwhelmed, because it's like, what is Montessori? Who is Montessori? Well, and actually we're going to kind of show you today how it is actually really, really simple to start using Montessori in the home environment.
Definitely. So shall we start myth busting?
Love it. Let's go.
Cool. All right. So everyone, first of all, we are going to talk about what Montessori at home is not about. Okay. So, Amanda, I heard that Montessori, let's go to the next slide. I heard that Montessori is not a homeschooling program.
Do you know, this is something I get asked so often. When I talk about what I do and how I say that I'm a Montessori at home consultant, the first question is it about homeschooling? I don't want to know.
100%. My God.
Yeah, it comes up the same. Now, homeschooling Montessori is a thing. Absolutely. And
Yes,
in fact,
definitely.
if you go to the AIM website, there is a tab at the top, and they support a wonderful homeschooling program that we absolutely recommend.
Yes, the Montessori teacher has partnered up with AIM. So just go straight on AIM's website and find the homeschooling program, which is really cool.
Absolutely. And I think a lot of people also think that, you know, it's about kind of recreating a classroom in the home environment. And obviously, if you're homeschooling, that's a different matter altogether. But if you just want to implement Montessori more as a lifestyle, you really don't need any Montessori materials, especially if your child is at a Montessori school.
Oh God, yes. Leave the pink tower at school, people. Don't bring it home.
Exactly. So, you know, straight off the bat, you do not need any Montessori materials at home to do Montessori at home.
Yeah. Oh God, so, that's a relief, isn't it?
It is a relief.
Now let's go to the second myth. Well, do you need to be certified in Montessori education to apply Montessori at home?
No, absolutely not.
No. Unless, obviously, again, if you want to become a Montessori educator, Montessori teacher, Montessori assistant, anything related to the school environment, to your academic life, then yes, you do have to have some sort of certification in Montessori education, which, by the way, AIM also offers. So, you know, and actually, they do an amazing certification program from MACT. And by coincidence, it's actually the same one that I took, which is fabulous. And they even have some essential programs as well that are, you know, like are a bit more self-paced. It doesn't require a big investment as well. So again, if you want to go down that route to become a Montessori educator, do it by all means. And again, go to AIM's website and you're going to find lots of information, lots of resources that are going to help you get the education that you need and the certification that you're looking for. However, if you're a parent, do you need to have a certification in Montessori education? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. So there you go. There's another myth that we are just busting today, isn't there?
So I love this one because I think especially in the UK, I think a lot of Montessori schools are private, and I think there's this myth that you have to be wealthy to do Montessori. And
oh God, yeah.
She actually started in a slum area of Italy, Maria Montessori. She started kind of working with children in the slum, and it's become in some countries so far removed from the actual essence of Montessori that I think this is where the myth has kind of, you know, come from. But we like to say, Lucy and I like to say, it's actually less is more. And in fact, actually, you can save money by implementing Montessori at home in various different ways. One such way is we talk about toy rotation. So sometimes the number of toys that a child has is just overwhelming and overstimulating for them. And often they're not based on the child's interests. So we kind of talk about, you know, observing your child, looking at what their current interests are, really looking at the child in front of you and throwing out the developmental timelines and just looking at the child in front of you, and then taking the toys or the materials that they're currently interested in, leaving them out, and then the ones that perhaps they're getting frustrated with, they might be too challenging or not challenging enough, just storing for another day, because sometimes children at different ages can work with materials in different ways. Plus, it keeps the play space really engaging and inspiring for children, because it's like something fresh comes out, you know.
Yes, there's always some novelty, isn't it? Yeah.
Always some novelty. So yes, it's definitely not. You can start Montessori with absolutely no money, with just repurpose things from around the house.
Yeah, so, definitely. Always shop around your own place. Don't go anywhere else before exploring everything you've got in your home. That is key. All right, let's go for the next one. Oh, Montessori at home is not for big homes only. I thought they had to have a massive room with a massive unit for all the beautiful toys in the little trays, in a massive forward-facing bookshelf.
I know. Well, to be honest, looking at Instagram, you can sometimes kind of buy into this, that, oh my gosh, I've got to have like an entire room as my child's play space.
Yeah.
But in fact, actually, you can literally start by creating child-friendly spaces in a corner of a room. And I like to kind of, the idea of actually like using the whole home as a
learning space.
Yeah, as a space for your child to kind of like, where you can foster independence. And this can be, you can think of it as just areas of your home. So for instance, like the kitchen would be an amazing place to start, or the entry hallway. And, you know, a question you can ask yourself is, because independence is such a fundamental kind of tenet of Montessori education, you can just ask yourself, you know, is there something that my child frequently asks for, and is there a way that I can actually make this more accessible for my child? So for example, in the entryway, it just might be a low hook. If they're constantly asking you to hang up their coat, or they can't reach their coat, or they leave it on the floor, simply by looking at your space and being intentional about it, you can save yourself time, and you can also give your child that feeling of capability and pride that they can do something by themselves.
Wow, game changer alerts, people. It is. It is a game changer, honestly. Just that one tip. Get something that your child keeps asking you all the time. Make sure that that is accessible, that the child can reach for it at any time, whenever they wish. And you will see how easy it is to start applying Montessori at home, isn't it?
Absolutely. And I love what Simone Davis actually said about kind of, she's the author of the Montessori toddler and the Montessori child. And she talks
about the Montessori baby.
And the Montessori baby. And she talks about actually getting down on the floor so you can see the space from your child's perspective. Because so often the way our environments are set up are for adults. They're from the adult perspective. So you can really see what your child can kind of notice from being on the floor. And sometimes even just simply by doing that, you can notice, I should take that away, because that's actually kind of hindering them doing something in a certain way. Or I could add something which would actually make their lives a lot easier.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, wow. You see, so many myths that we are busting today. My God. You don't need to call the Ghostbusters or the Mythbusters. There's us. Cool. Now let's go to the next one. So it says, people say that it's really difficult to apply. I think that the fact that they feel so overwhelmed with the amount of information that's out there, is Montessori at home, everything that is portrayed on social media, yes, it can feel so overwhelming. And then I think it stops people from even trying in the first place, isn't it? Because they say like, definitely. Oh, that like everything that I'm seeing on social media, that has nothing to do with my home. So how can I start applying it today? And I think that you've already touched on it when you said, well, just try and make that one thing accessible to the child, right? And this is the first step to applying Montessori at home, isn't it? Would you like to add anything to it?
I would say that it's just, in the beginning, it's not about kind of overhauling your space, because that can be overwhelming, as you know, Lucy, from the work you do with families. And
it doesn't go well for children as well. Like if you revamp your whole environment at once, children will not cope well with it.
No, exactly. That we know that they thrive on predictability and order. So just
mini environment.
yeah. So just making us, these kind of small tweaks, such as, hanging a piece of art at your child's eye level, or perhaps you've got some family photos that are kind of at your eye level, but imagine the kind of the language experience that if you actually brought some of them down to your child's level, just little tweaks like that, where you're making things just that bit more accessible. So that can be, something, it's all about starting small.
Always start small and you will get big results.
Exactly.
All right, let's move on. Now, people think that to apply Montessori at home, you have to buy lots of new materials. They think, okay, so where is that Montessori at home store? I need to go there. I need to get my big shopping trolley and I need to fill it up. Not really, is it?
Not at all. I would say, actually, it's not really even about the materials, I think. And, I always say that a really great place to start is the kitchen. Yes. And you really don't need any new materials for the kitchen.
No, that's it. Okay, now, shall we see what Montessori at home is about?
Let's do it.
All right, let's do it. Okay. So, Montessori at home is about intentional spaces, right? So, when it comes to intentional spaces, we are thinking order, we are thinking simplicity, we are thinking beauty. Okay. So, children up to the age of 6, they are in the sensitive periods for order. So, children actually thrive in an orderly environment. And to be very honest with you, I think everybody thrives in an orderly environment, regardless of their age. The thing is, children from 0 to 6, they learn a lot more easily how to manage an orderly environment, how to tidy up, how to put things back in their place. They thrive. Now, and for that to happen, we need to have a place for everything, and obviously everything in its place. Okay, so this is going to set up the children for success because they know where to get the materials and they know where to put them back. Right now, simplicity, I think it's like Montessori at home, and even like any sort of Montessori, really, it's quite minimalist, especially in the home. As we have already mentioned before, less is more, right? So make sure that you have only a handful of materials for your small child. See how they get on with it. If you need to add 1 or 2, that's fine. And if you need to take some away, it's also fine as well. Just make sure to start small. So start with just a few options and try to observe your child and see how they progress with it. Okay. But it's like, I think it's just like when we go shopping or when we open up our wardrobes and it is packed with clothes. And then we say, oh, I have nothing to wear.
Yeah, exactly.
But if you have like a capsule wardrobe, which is something that I have been living with for the past years, and oh my days, it's so amazing because now I look at my clothes and I go, I've got so many things to wear. I don't even know which one to choose from. And it's funny because I never had that few pieces of clothing, and it's basically
it's actually very liberating, isn't it? I think
yes. Yeah. So, and that the same rule applies to children and their toys and activities.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I was just going to mention the last one, which is beauty, because we're already almost 20 minutes into
my goodness. Okay.
So beauty is going to be basically the invitation for children to start exploring that material, and that is a key part of the intentional spaces. Okay, so obviously, like, we need to think about the function, but we also have to think about the form. So how are you going to present that material? Are you going to just keep it inside its original box, or are you going to open it up, maybe put it in a basket or in a tray? Okay, make sure that it's inviting, because this is how children feel the need to try and explore. It's like us when we're traveling, we always want to see beautiful landscapes. We always want to see beautiful places. We are drawn to them. Same rule applies to Montessori at home. Make sure it's beautiful. Okay. Now let's go to the second one, contribution.
So contribution. So this is one of my favorites, because actually this is a really lovely blend of positive discipline and Montessori.
Right, yeah.
And positive discipline always talks about the key needs of children being about belonging and significance, and belonging being connection, and significance being about, I matter. I'm a valued member of this family. I'm a valued member of this community.
Yeah.
And the best way we can offer children to kind of feel that sense of significance is through contribution. So we tend to call them chores. I don't like the word chore so much. I think it's got a really bad connotation to it.
We can always add a positive connotation to it. So
yeah, we can. But I think I love the idea of contribution. And this can be as simple as, laying the table, or contributing to the meal in some way by doing some food prep alongside the parent, or
sorting laundry. Children love
sorting laundry. And children are actually, they've done research, and they're actually hardwired for contribution. They want to contribute, and this really kind of gives them a sense of competence. And one thing I would add here is just, if you can, child size materials go a long way in allowing a child to kind of feel successful in what they're doing. So it also gives them a sense of sort of ownership and responsibility to whatever they're doing. So I think, yeah, that's a huge one.
Yeah, and it just made me think, so basically, I was just thinking about laundry again, because laundry is such a big thing in a household, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like, yeah.
Maybe instead of having a huge hamper that a child, maybe a 2-year-old, would never be able to carry, how about just giving them a small basket and just put a handful of clothes so they can start working on it alongside you, right? So make sure it works for the child.
And a great way to connect as well. This is a really, doing things, they watch what you do and they want to mimic what you do. So just inviting them into your world just goes such a long way to kind of not only build their confidence, but also have that really lovely connection with your child.
That's it. Yeah. Yeah, that's it. That's amazing. Now, shall we go to the last?
Yes, we're 22 minutes in. So
yeah, I think
sorry.
Go ahead.
Okay, so independence. So this is, as we've said, is a key tenet of Montessori. Now, independence, it's not about just allowing a child to kind of, go and do whatever they like. Independence is a process, it's age appropriate, but you can start again by just kind of making some really small tweaks to your home. I mean, even something like, putting a light switch, extender, so that a child has access to, being able to turn the light on or off when they want, or putting a small sturdy step stool where they can actually access the sink so they can wash their own hands, or maybe, in the kitchen so they can access the tabletop.
And I saw, Amanda, just trying to you reminded me of something so interesting that I saw the other day. They actually, because so many parents, and I completely get their concern, they are very, very worried about children stepping on a step stool to reach for the sink. But I saw that now there are basins that go over the bath.
Okay.
So you don't need to step on anything. It's already at their height, which is, I just found it brilliant.
That's brilliant. Yeah, I love that.
For children to become independent, and you don't need to worry about them stepping on stools, it requires even less supervision, right? Because it offers a very, very minimal risk. So just, you don't need to be, just holding them, making sure that they're not going to fall.
I also love the sort of the mantra of help me to do it myself. This is what Montessori said, the young child is literally saying, and you've probably heard your child say, me do it. They want to know how to do these things. And obviously there's a lot of guidance, a lot of repetition, a lot of showing them how to do it. But once they actually kind of conquer their sort of control of the movements of their hands, and it's a game changer. So anything that fosters independence at home is wonderful. And it's a great way to, again, bring Montessori into the home environment.
Cool. So now we're actually going to the last one, which is it Montessori at home teaches life skills. So think about any life skills that you want your child to acquire. Most likely they can acquire them at home. Okay, so we are talking about problem solving. We're talking about resilience. We're talking about being eager to learn. We are talking about being flexible. We are talking about contributing. We are talking about being kind to others. We are talking about looking after oneself, looking after others, and looking after the environment. All of these things they can practice at home. And there is no safer environment than the home environments, right? So, like, they're allowed to make mistakes because they've got people around there who love them more than anything else in the world. So, that is the best place for children to practice and acquire these life skills. It's at home. So as you can see, my God, Amanda, there is just so much that Montessori at home can add, not just to the child, but to the whole family unit, isn't it?
I know. And as AIM put a post out, and they talked about it being like a really fulfilling way of parenting. And I think that's exactly, I love that sort of phraseology, because it is, once you see how capable your child is, and how much they can kind of do for themselves, and connect with you and grow with you, it's so special.
It's huge, isn't it? Now, shall we go to our
question?
Yes.
Yeah. So the question that came in, as I alluded to at the beginning, was all about how to encourage independent play. So I think we've probably both got a couple of top tips here, but mine, and I know we've spoken about the environment quite a lot, but is look to the environment. And it's not going to be a problem with your child. It's probably going more likely to be an issue with the environment. So look at how many toys are out. Children obviously find, more than, a few options really, really overwhelming. So we tend to kind of say, like, keep the toy boxes for storage and just use like a low accessible shelf, or a shelf on a coffee table, or just a window ledge, so that they can access.
Trolley, right? There's like trolleys as well that are so small and just so minimal, easy to set up.
Exactly. So anything that just makes children kind of, able to kind of use their kind of autonomy and make choices for themselves. That's really important. And also, like, one of the things we spoke about is the type of toys in the environment. Like, a lot of commercially bought toys tend to be kind of battery powered, and we talk about battery powered versus child powered. So what you want to look for is materials that allow your child to do most of the work. So a question to ask yourself is, who's doing most of the work here, the toy or my child? So, like, bricks, for an example, for a young child versus an all flashing, all dancing, all singing, toy that they probably play with for about 5 minutes and then get bored, So that would be obviously looking at the types of toys in the environment as well, and obviously following their interests, because I think you can get very carried away by, oh, I saw this activity on Instagram and I tried it with my child and it didn't work. Well, maybe it's just not right for your child. It's nothing about the activity or you or the way it's been set up.
So the child, there's nothing wrong with anyone.
Yeah, exactly. So just observe what your child is gravitating towards, what they're trying to master, and also perhaps what they're finding frustrating in the environment. And then, as we said, you can rotate those things in or out depending on where their interests are. And then one more tip I'm going to give is that, especially if you have a toddler, they tend to be more excited and engaged with toys that are undone. So, for instance, if you have like a puzzle, put the puzzle pieces on the right-hand side on a tray, and then the puzzle base on the left-hand side. So it's like undone, and then they can actually create it themselves. So that's just a tip to make something more sort of enticing to a child.
That's it. And I think that, yes, definitely. And I think that one important thing is do you actually need your child to play independently at all times? What is your goal behind getting your child to play independently? Is it just so they can free you up to do something else? And do you see if your child is actually looking for connection? Because maybe
Yeah.
the child doesn't want to play independently because they are seeking connection, right? So that's why it is so important for us to try and involve the child as much as we possibly can, and as much as we see that they are happy to be part of, right? When it comes to involving them in the routines of the home. And then obviously, like, always allow them time for independent play, but it doesn't need to be any of the extremes. You don't have to be with your child 100% of the time, and you also don't have to have your child playing independently, basically just isolating them so you can get your things done. We need to find a healthy balance between these two, okay? So,
Absolutely.
yeah.
I was just going to say as well, depending on the age of the child, I mean, it's, independent play is going to look very different. For an 18-month-old, it might be 30 seconds of concentration,
Yeah,
whereas
yeah,
for a 4-year-old, it might be up to 40 minutes. So just manage
definitely.
your expectations around that as well. And
Yeah.
and then obviously if your child isn't used to playing by themselves, perhaps you want to just kind of nip out, take a bathroom break, then come back, and then next time nip out for a bit longer and have a coffee, and just kind of start small and see how that goes.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. So, yes, is there anything else that you would like to add, Amanda? I think
No, Lucy, do you want to
we
talk about?
covered
Do you want
all
to talk?
bases, haven't
I
we?
think we've covered all bases. Do you want to talk about the free parenting workshop we've got coming up?
Yeah, so this is exciting, people. So we are offering a free intro to positive parenting. Okay, so this is basically what one of the biggest things that has changed our lives, isn't it, Amanda? So it is all about positive discipline. You can call it positive parenting. It is all about connection. It's all about respectful relationships. So if you are willing to learn more about it, just tune in, go on the website, go to amontessori.org, or you can just scan the QR code. Just use your phone in case you're just watching this on your telly or on your desktop, and scan the QR code, sign up for it. It is going to be an unmissable opportunity. I think it's going to be great. There will be so much that you will learn, and it's going to happen at 4 p.m. UK time on the 16th of November, which is 10 a.m. CST. It's going to be a Saturday, so I hope you guys are going to be relaxed and just ready to take it all in, right? And it is just like, whew, it does. I'll tell you what, this workshop tends to have so many aha moments from parents and from people who have children in their lives, and even people who don't have children in their lives. They still go like, oh, that's interesting, or oh, I can actually use this in my workplace, or maybe I could even use that with my partner, or with a friend, or even with yourself, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah. So that is going to be definitely a great opportunity for everyone to learn a bit more about positive parenting and positive discipline.
Fantastic. And we're going to be back in 2 weeks, and we're going to be talking all about how Montessori and positive discipline work in harmony. As we said before, they're like Marmite and toast. Or Lucy, you had a different.
Cinnamon buns and coffee.
Okay, cinnamon buns and coffee. Okay. So so we'll be back in a couple of weeks. Make sure you tune in. You can access the replays through YouTube or Facebook, and we will see you then. Thank you so much, guys.
Make sure to access AIM's website. You guys are going to find everything you need in there. Okay, so just go to amontessori.org. Just find the parenting tab, and there you are. You will find us all there. Have a great day.
Yeah, have a great couple of weeks. See you soon.
Bye.
Bye.